Hey, it's Jim Harshaw here, friend of Charlie Brenneman's, host of the Success Through Failure podcast. And I want to talk just real quickly about mental toughness. What is mental toughness? When have I used it personally? And what does it mean? So what is mental toughness? Mental toughness means, to me, it's about doing the right thing, even though it's not easy to do the right thing. It means doing the right thing, whether it's in relationships or fitness or at work or as a parent or in any aspect of your life, doing the right thing because you know it's the right thing. Doing the right thing because logically it's the right thing to do and it's the good thing to do and it's the thing that you have to do in order to get to the next level, whatever that next level is for any area of your life. Doing it logically as opposed to emotionally. Sometimes we react emotionally to when things get tough and we think maybe because we failed that we should lower our goals or settle for less or give up on our dreams. And we don't realize that other people have had to go through the same thing in order to get what they want. As a matter of fact, a good friend of mine, he was the two-time NCAA soccer player of the year. He told me, he said, Jim, anybody can be good at anything if they're willing to go through enough pain and suffering. So that's what mental toughness means to me. When have I used it? I've used it in a lot of different times in my life. Certainly I can reflect back onto my wrestling career. I was a Division I All-American, and man, you use it pretty regularly in that sport. And I would say maybe the time where I used it the most was the biggest match of my life, which was I was wrestling the fourth ranked guy in the country, and in order to be an All-American. And if I win, I'm an All-American. If I lose, I'm not. And I was ranked 11th. He was ranked 4th, and this is the match of my life. And what did I do? I reacted logically instead of emotionally. I couldn't say that this is the biggest match of my life. I had to go to work. I had just to punch the time clock, pick up my lunchbox and go to work, and that's what I did. I wrestled with every ounce of everything that I had, and that was probably the first time I could really reflect back on, not the first time, but probably a big one that I could really reflect back onto earlier in my life. And now it's like in parenting, I remember walking around with my first son. I have 4 kids, and Jesse was just crying and screaming, and he was a baby. He had colic. If you know what colic is, if you're a parent, you do. It's just an absolute nightmare, and it's the most frustrating, difficult thing outside of wrestling, I believe. But anyway, it's just it's again reacting logically instead of emotionally, doing the right thing, and just kind of spending hours and hours up at night with him, and just kind of trying to be patient through that process. That's in relationships. I'm married for 13 years now, and sometimes in relationships you get in arguments, you have disagreements, and I think mental toughness reflects itself there when you do the right thing and say the right thing despite wanting to do and say something different, and so I think that's how mental toughness reflects itself in relationships and really in my daily life. I'll say, in my work, in my job, my business, how it reflects is, I wake up early every morning between 5 and 5:30 to get some work done on my business before I actually go to my job at the University of Virginia. And someone, actually, one of my coworkers told me the other day, she said, "You're the most humble, hardworking person that I know." And she actually said, "You remind me of Jesus," which I'll take that for what it's worth. But obviously, that was a huge compliment. So I think I live it out. I try to live it out daily. I try to live mental toughness and just do the right thing and act logically instead of emotionally on a regular basis. And how do you develop it? You get tough by doing tough things. If you ask my kids, how do you get tough? You get tough by doing tough things, they'll tell you. And I repeat that mantra to them regularly. It's something I heard from Jay Robinson, the former head wrestling coach at University of Minnesota. One of his wrestlers went off and became an Army Ranger, and they came back and they were having this conversation. And that's kind of what came out of that conversation is, how do you get tough? By doing tough things. So do tough things. You don't do things that require discipline because you're disciplined. You become disciplined by doing things that require discipline. So whether that's working out regularly or waking up at 5 a.m. or doing things that are tough, anything that's tough. I don't care if it's practicing piano, doing math problems like I tell my kids, or wrestling, or anything else that you're doing. So I hope you got a lot out of this. Hope that makes sense. Mental toughness. I hope you can continue to develop, and I know you're mentally tough if you're watching this. So hopefully you'll continue to develop it in your life and use it in your life. Thanks.